The 2017 Nancy Drew Haunted Maine Convention takes place in Ogunquit. It is highly likely that the author of Mystery of the Tolling Bell came here and researched for the book. There are too many coincidences, with iconic places named directly in the book, and some experiences very specific to the area. Nancy and her friends would have walked along the gravel path along the coast. This is called Marginal Way in Ogunquit. To the right of Boone Island Light, you'll see a hotel. It is on top of Bald Head Cliff. Bald Head Cliff is mentioned in the book. If you are at the Cliff House, there is a severe drop to the ocean. Today there are stairs you can take down to the water. Candleton, in the book, is a made-up name of the town, but there is a Fisher's Cove. It's actually called Fish Cove, and it is near the head of Perkins Cove. Perkins Cove is known as a fishing village, which started in the 1880s. By the 1940s, when the book was researched, an artist colony started painting the village because they thought it was so quaint. All those buildings along the shore were once fishing shacks, which turned to art studios and art schools in the 40s. In Mystery of the Tolling Bell, Nancy and her friends rent motorboats. Perkins Cove would have been the area to have done this. Nowadays, there aren't any motorboats for rent here. It's just a fisherman's cove. There is the Whistling Oyster. Right where Barnacle Billy's restaurant is, was once one of the oldest buildings in town. It burned down in 1976, but it would have been standing since 1730. It was known as the Whistling Oyster, a tea room. There is a gift shop open today called the Whistling Oyster at the other end of the cove. Boone Island Lighthouse, the tallest lighthouse in New England. It is 6 miles offshore. It got its name in the 1680s when a shipwreck occurred. 4 sailors were shipwrecked for a couple of months. They ate gulls, eggs, and fish to stay alive. They were there until one day they saw from the top of the mountain, Mount Agamiticus, named after the Indian chief, where they saw a fire. So they too started a fire. Indians on the mainland saw the fire on the island, went down and saved all 4 sailors. The sailors said, "Oh, this is a boon from God that we finally got saved." And supposedly that's how Boone Island got its name. However, this isn't what Boone Island is known for. It is known for a shipwreck on December 11th, 1710. If you are a New Englander, you know how cold it gets in the winter in December. 2 sailors died from the shipwreck, and 2 more decided to go build a raft and go ashore since they could see it. They drowned. That left another 12 sailors. They didn't want to risk death after seeing the raft sailors die, so they decided to wait on Boone Island. Most survived, but only from eating the only meat alive on that island. Ever since, supposedly, the fishermen, even today, make sure there are stores of food on Boone Island just in case there's another shipwreck. Wood Island Lighthouse, a couple of towns away, is haunted. Once upon a time, a man needed a place to live. The sheriff of town offered to rent out the chicken coop, and the man accepted. After a while, the man became unhappy and decided to kill the sheriff. After the deed was done, he committed suicide. There is now a ghost at the lighthouse. It is unclear whose ghost it is, but most people in the area say it was the murderer. The hauntings got so bad at the lighthouse that the lighthouse keeper had enough and left for shore. But the keeper was so upset that he threw himself out of a 3-story boarding house and died. 3 deaths, all because the sheriff was cheap and placed the man in the chicken coop. Following the gravel path along Marginal Way, you come around a bend. If you look down below the cliff, there are large boulders. These were all added by man. They are not natural to the area. The natural rock is darker. The area is called Devil's Kitchen, as it makes a lot of noise in high tide and can be very dangerous. It is suspected that the man-placed boulders were placed here to cover a cave, inspiring the cave in Mystery of the Tolling Bell. The Beechmere Inn. The building with the tower was the original building, built in 1899. It became an establishment, lodging and tea room, in the 1930s. It has a tea room, just like in the book, and is thought to have been the inspiration for the book's tea room, the Sal Sandy. In 1937, for 1 week, you could stay here a night and get 3 meals a day for $5. During the War of 1812, there was a ship captain who left his new wife, who was pregnant, for a trip on a very fast schooner called the Dash. He didn't come back until many months later. When it did come back, it turned around and immediately left without docking. It is said his wife saw the boat come. Another man, whose son was a sailor on that ship, claims to have seen the ship come as well. It is said that if you see the Dash, then it means that you had a relative on that ship back in 1813. According to legend, in the 1600s, the wife and infant son of Squando, the chief of the Saco tribe, was traveling by canoe along the Saco River near the mouth. They came across 3 drunken sailors. These sailors heard the rumor that Indian babies could swim at birth, and they made a bet with each other. They snatched the infant from the mother and threw the baby into the river. The baby did not swim. The mother rescued the baby, but the infant died a few days later. Heartbroken and outraged, Squando, the chief, cursed the river, saying that each year from henceforth, at least 3 white people would drown in the river. To this day, there are no exact documentation or numbers of deaths that have happened, but according to the locals to the region, it is true that at least 3 deaths do indeed occur every year. This house has been around for years. The oral history says that Perkins Cove was named after the house, which was owned by Mrs. Perkins. According to the current owner today, it is haunted. A couple of children were playing down in the basement while their mother was doing laundry. When she got distracted, the children decided to try to sample the lye. Today, their friendly ghosts still play in the house.